Welcome to the JCPod, part number Stand On Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and man, NFL is just right around the corner. Crazy to think that truly we are. College football is going to be starting up next month. The following month, September 5th, we get our first kickoff game on a Thursday. And then we got a game on a Friday. And then we got a game on Sunday. I guess we got the rest of week one on Sunday. And then we got a game that Monday. It's crazy to think that truly we're basically right there. I think we got 8 weeks left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 weeks and pretty much 2 days until the first kickoff of the NFL. Man. But yeah, because of that, like I said, we're basically closer to football season. Not too much to talk about. So if you guys saw the last episode, obviously, we had my boy Rowan on. He and I talked a little bit about the WNBA. For the rest of this time, pretty much, that's only going to be the only time you pretty much hear about the WNBA or baseball probably is when I have my boy Rowan on, because this channel is about to turn into the football machine that we become during football season. So over these next few weeks, we're going to break down teams starting probably either this Thursday or next week. We're going to start breaking down teams by conference. For example, I think one of the first two I'm going to do is AFC South, AFC North, or even AFC East, AFC West, one of those. We're going to start in the AFC, but AFC South is for sure going to be one of the first two episodes, obviously, because I follow the Colts, obviously, so I have way better eyes on the AFC South. So we're going to start that. We got that going on. We got some win totals in the NFL, which we're going to talk about today. We got bets to give out in the future. We got some college football stuff to talk about. All this is going to pretty much happen within the next 8 weeks. So we got a lot to cover, a lot of ground to cover, and a lot to do. So I can't wait, man. Truly excited. And like I said, we're still going to have my boy Rowan on, but he's going to be here to change the pace for us. So you'll hear my voice for pretty much 3 episodes in a row. 4th episode, you'll get my boy Rowan in there talking a little bit of either MLB or WNBA, whichever we decide. One of those two will be upcoming. I think not this week, but the following week, I think we're going to talk a little baseball because we haven't done that this year. Catch up a little bit on that. And then following week, we'll do a little bit of WNBA. But yeah, other than that, you're going to hear from me talking about football. Like I said, today we're going to go over some win totals. Thursday, we're going to do futures just yet. Futures are going to probably come in 2 weeks or so, but we're going to start sprinkling them out a little bit because we only got 8 weeks. Yeah, we got about 59 days left till NFL. So we don't got too much time. We got enough time, though. Not too much time, but just enough time to get some stuff done. So, like I said, I'm going to give out some win totals today. I'm going to just go over them first off. I'm going to give out a few, like I said, that I like. But we're pretty much just going to go over a big list that I got of ones that I like, and then when I give out my bets here in the near future, we will talk a little bit more about the win totals and the specific ones that I'm actually going to be taking. Because, yeah, I got close to 10 to 12 today. I don't think I'm going to bet all 10 to 12, but crazier's happened. But anyway, like I said, before we get into the win totals and everything, let's hop straight into the news. Apparently, Davante Adams is upset at a viral Chargers tweet. I haven't seen this. I won't lie. I didn't realize this made it mad. This is kind of funny. So the Chargers posted a video of Davante Adams, and they posted a picture of Pop-Tarts with the garbage flavor. I won't lie. That's kind of funny, I'll admit. But so the Chargers apparently posted a thread of X with their 2024 opponents as Pop-Tarts. Before the NFL's official schedule release on May 15th. Apparently, so yeah, they had it's obviously a very slow new day if this is what we're talking about, but this is kind of funny, so I wanted to bring it up. So apparently, Davante Adams is not as happy about it as some are, but he came out and said, hopefully the people that made that post, because it's not the player's fault, they didn't have anything to do with the post. This is directed strictly towards the Chargers social media page. Please get my name out of your mouth and show some respect. I mean, I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's media, so of course, everyone said. Let's be honest. I just wanted to bring up the Davante Adams thing because I thought it was honestly kind of funny. I mean, it's 2 months old. I honestly, when I first read it, I thought it was more recently, and then I saw it. I saw it 2 months ago. I'm like, man, nothing screams more football than stuff like that in the dead season. I won't lie to you though. I definitely just went for about 20 or not 20 minutes. We'll make it a little bit more reasonable. We just went about 15 minutes. I talked a good amount of stuff. I won't lie to you guys. I went to a good amount of detail for some stuff. It quit recording. So I just lost a good amount of the stuff I recorded. So I'm going to basically have to try to redo all of that conversation with trying to remember exactly what I said. So I'm going to probably sum up a few of these points because, like I said, the win total is a big part of the day. I missed, shit. Anyway, like I said, so this is, yet again, you guys didn't hear it. This is my now second time talking about it. Apparently, Prescott there's been conversation about a contract extension, but he hasn't fully extended anything. Or there hasn't been an extension just yet. Him and the Cowboys are talking. One of the biggest things I brought up, I went on a good 5 minutes about this, so I'll sum it up a little bit quicker. I don't know if they move on from him this year, next year, year after. I do think within a 3-year time span, he's either going to be benched or moved on from. I genuinely think it's probably going to be this year. But knowing, thing I mentioned, it's with the quarterback market. If you don't got a guy, you really want to keep a guy because it's really hard to find a guy. I mean, you've seen it with the Colts ever since Andrew Luck got hurt. That jersey all of a sudden started to become like the Cleveland Browns before they got Baker Mayfield, and hell, even with him, where it's just like name, quarterback every year, quarterback new year, quarterback every year. You do not want to get into that roulette table because sometimes there ain't no hopping off for a few years, and all of a sudden, if you're lucky, say for example Bengals, they haven't had a quarterback for a while. I mean Andy Dalton, he was still good, so I guess we won't use them as an example because that's a little bit disrespectful to Andy Dalton. So I guess we can use the Colts because that's a little bit... Colts, Andrew Luck retires. So they get Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew. They just go through all these names pretty much. And then they get Anthony Richardson. But even then, Anthony Richardson got hurt last year. So they start Gardner Minshew. They've started Sam Ellinger. I mean, you just don't want to get to that point. So I can understand why they want to keep Dak Prescott. But at the same time, when you hit your head in the ceiling and do the same thing year in and year out, at a certain point, the change is going to come because, don't get me wrong, Cowboys have had good seasons, not to their standards, especially their fan standards. Fans think they're Super Bowl every year. I know. But basically, so yeah, every year he's going about 10-7, 10-7, 11-6, 10-7, 11-6, 12-5, and then they lose in the first or second round of the playoffs. And then they lose in the first or second round of the playoffs. And then they lose in the first or second round of the playoffs. So when this happens over and over and over and over and over again, I mean, at a certain point, they go from the coach where it's like, all right, the clapper, Jason Garrett, you're gone. Big Mike, you're gone. All right, Dan Quinn, you're gone. Obviously, the Dan Quinn and Big Mike ones haven't happened yet, but you get my point. It's like, hey, you're gone. And then at a certain point, they fired now 3 or 4 or 5 coaches. All of a sudden, I don't think we want this quarterback. I don't think he's the guy we need. So then it turns into that issue. And then, so that's just kind of the point there are two now. It's like they've had Mike for a while, Big Mike for a while now, and they've had Dak for 9 seasons. At a certain point, one of those two are going to go. I just don't see Dak being a Cowboy for the rest of his career. If he does, shout out to him. I would love to be wrong about that because I'm a big advocate for playing for one team your whole career. I love when athletes do that, especially nowadays, because that's going to start becoming even more rare, especially when it's hard to get. Not only is it hard first off, unless you're a star, for example, like Steph Curry, Peyton Manning, even Peyton Manning left teams though, especially in the NFL. Like it's hard for a team to take care of you for all these years. Even Tom Brady. Tom Brady left the Patriots. It's very hard for a team to take care of you all these years, and then you retire with that team. Like Aaron Donald. Fucking mad props to Aaron Donald for being able to do what he did. Got a good amount of money, played a really, really amazing career, and spent it all with one team. I love when athletes are able to spend it with one team. But now I also get the reasonable side of sports that, hey, money's an issue. Teams are eventually going to choose a different guy over you, especially when it comes to like receivers, quarterbacks. Not quarterbacks as much, but like receivers, linemen, linebackers, all those positions. Eventually, they'll choose the younger, cheaper option. So, I mean, I get it. Like I said, but it's going to be interesting because I just don't think Dak's going to be there much longer. So I think extension I could be kind of being like a LeBron-like extension, 2-3 years. Give him a shit ton of money. I don't think they'd give him a 5-year max, or I don't even think quarterbacks are getting 5-year maxes. I just don't think he's going to get the max contract. I think he's going to get shorter years, maybe a lot of money, shorter years, but I don't see anything being past 3 years. Another thing that I talk about in a lot of detail. So the Brett Favre is asking appeals court to reinstate the defamation lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. So pretty much, I read through a lot of this article, explained some stuff. So instead of doing that, I'll sum it up this time. So pretty much, for those of you who don't remember, Shannon Sharpe, along with Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee's not in this part of it though, but Pat McAfee was another person. People came out on their shows and they were talking about Brett Favre and what he did. What he did was, he took money that was supposed to go to basically like helping people, a temporary home and like food society type thing, where basically they help people who can't afford to get food or can't afford homes, like get acclimated into stuff like that. So instead of giving the money to them like he was supposed to, he kept the money for himself and invested into his daughter's volleyball court on our campus. I think he owes them so he paid the $1.1 million back that he stole, but apparently he owes another $700,000 in damages, in interest and all that. So that came out, but apparently Shannon Sharp, when all this came out and everything, Shannon Sharp made some comments on Undisputed that were basically saying that Brett allegedly, I don't want to get sued either, but apparently made some comments about how Brett was stealing money from people and everything and this and that. And now they tried to sue him, basically saying like he accused Brett of stuff before his name was even out there in the case. But by this point when the accusations, a lot of stuff was coming out, a lot of people were like, oh, holy shit, Brett Favre actually did this, didn't he? And it was starting to get to that point where it's like, damn, that kind of sucks. Brett Favre did do this, about when all this stuff was said. So now that brings us caught up back to today where they're trying to reinstate, or Brett Favre's trying to reinstate this pretty much and make it a thing where it's very similar to the John Gruden thing. I don't think it's going to get reinstated. Or revive this case. I think this case is set in stone. I think he's going to have to pay the money. Very similar to like how John Gruden's not going to get reinstated to the NFL. I think he's going to... The punishment's kind of final. That's what it's sounding like. And especially for the Brett Favre situation, hopefully we don't have to hear about this much more because it's just a horrible situation. And hopefully there is some resolution to it here soon because, like I said, very shitty what allegedly Brett Favre did. Allegedly. And then, yeah, like I said, he had to pay. He has still apparently $729,000 to pay back and everything. And Favre has denied wrongdoing and is not facing criminal charges. He is among more than 36 people or companies being sued by the State Department of Human Services. So there was like this whole big thing that Brett Favre is a part of. But basically, he's saying he wasn't, but I'm not going to say I'm certain he was because obviously I don't have all the proof. But from everything I've heard or read or seen, it sounds like Brett Favre was a decent part of it. But like I said, we're going to see if this ends up getting reinstated, but I would doubt that this ends up happening. Okay, so this is where I kind of left off at, where it started to cut off, was Cam Sutton's going to be suspended for 8 games for violating the personal conduct policy. So Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Cam Sutton is going to be suspended for the first 8 games without pay. He can return Week 9 on their bye. And then Week 10, they'll be playing the Washington Commanders, so that'll probably be one of the first weeks he suits up for action if he's able to play. But basically, there was an investigation into Sutton in early March that authorities had when he was with the Detroit Lions for domestic battery and strangulation. The Lions released him on March 21st. Then March 21st they released him. And then like a day or two later, it came out that like, hey, I don't know if it was like a missing report or like, hey, this guy needs to turn himself in. If you find him, or let us know. Pretty much, he ended up turning himself in. He was charged with a misdemeanor battery, and then yeah, so basically he was like, by the way, not okay. I'm not just brushing over this just because it's not okay. Anything he did, no matter what. I'm going to say 99 out of 100 times. I mean, realistically, 100 times out of 100 times, it should never be okay to lay your hands on a woman. But the one time it probably is self-defense. Not saying that this is that by all. And even then, like even in self-defense, like I don't think you should be touching a woman, especially NFL players. Let's be honest. Like normal folk, even then, normal folk shouldn't be doing it. Especially NFL players should not be. You shouldn't just be laying your hands on a woman in general. Let's be honest. Like I mean, there in no situation is it just okay. Like even like, because even if, like you said, even if it is in self-defense, like right away people are gonna be like, I don't know if you need to do all that then, dude. But like I said, we don't need to get into all that. That's a different conversation for a different day. But pretty much he joined back on a 1-year contract with June 5th with the Steelers. So I'm assuming they knew there was a chance this was going to happen. He was going to originally fight for the starting role in their secondary. But because of that now, I don't know if he's going to start unless an injury happens, but he probably will get a decent amount of playing time. But like I said, he's going to be gone for the first 8 weeks of the season, so the Steelers are going to have to do without him. Which defensively, I think they might be okay. Like I said, we need to do their breakdown and everything, so there's a chance that, what am I going to say? There's a chance that, like, you could, once I see the depth chart again, I could, better tell you that if he's going to fit in right away. Like, basically when he comes back, if he's going to come right away in or not. But we can save that because, like I said, AFC North is going to be within... Shit, by this time next week, or Thursday next week, we should already be talking about the AFC North, so I'll probably save it for then, honestly. But at least wanted to bring it up because, yeah, it's probably going to be a big, I wouldn't say big loss for them, but I would say that He probably was in line to start. We can take a quick peek because, like I said, we're about to go to the win totals here soon, I think. But yeah, if I can't find this in under like 20 seconds, I'll probably just save it for whenever we deal with the. Okay, here we go. So we got cornerback Joey Porter Jr., Cam Sutton, Darius Rush, Dante Jackson, Anthony Averett, and Corey Trice Jr. Those were some of the names that we were looking at. So yeah, I don't know if he would have started over Joey Porter Jr. or Dante Jackson. Maybe even, I don't think he would have started over Josiah Scott. Potentially might have in the nickel, but regardless, I mean, he was second on the depth chart, so he was going to be in line for a good amount of playing time, and that's just they're just pretty much man down now until he can come back in week 9. Long way away. Vikings, Kyrie Jackson, and two former college players were killed in a car crash. They were his high school teammates as well. Just super, super sad, pretty much. This happened at 3 a.m. Apparently, were killed in an early morning car crash on Saturday. Apparently, Jackson died, and somebody else died. One of his buddies died at the scene, while the other buddy was pronounced dead at the hospital after the 3-car crash in Prince George County. The 3 were in the same vehicle just after 3 a.m. when it was struck by another vehicle said that was speeding and changing lanes. Just super, super sad, man. It's just sad, man. I don't think I need to say anything more than what's very obvious. I mean, a young man who lost his life, who just was drafted to the NFL, had so much life ahead of him. It's just really, really sad, man. It happened early in the morning, too, so I'm not going to say anything speculation-wise or anything. Because I saw, I'll admit, I saw stuff online about, drunk driving and all that, but then I learned, you learn there's 3 people in the car. It couldn't even have been him drunk. So I'm not even going to get into any of the speculation, anything like that. Just rest in peace to the Kyrie Jackson and his buddies, because, man, that is, it's really sad, man, truly. Truly just a sad situation. Just hate to lose another young man. Dak Prescott, speaking of Dak Prescott, he's feeling good. He had an ankle injury, but he's feeling a lot better. The boot's off, and it seems like he's doing a little bit better. The Rams are going to re-sign John Johnson after 2023 was good. It sounds like... I don't see if it's a 1 or 2 year deal. It sounds like it's... I don't know. I don't know if they said anything yet. He left for a lucrative free agent deal in 2021. After 2 seasons as a starter for the Browns, he turned to the Rams last summer. And yeah, I don't see any years, but probably not a bad person to have back. Let me try that again. Probably not a bad person to have back. He was there with Sean McVay before, so there's at least some continuity there. And that's probably going to do it for today. Packers Josh Jacobs says that Jordan Love will be the next superstar. To me, just from what I've seen, he has all the traits and all the tools to be a superstar in this league, is what Josh Jacobs said. Excuse me. I think that he keeps continuing to play and gets the experience to become more confident in his abilities that he can do, and he's going to be the next superstar in this league for sure. I mean, I won't lie to you. I would say half the games last year, I'm like, what in the fuck is this Jordan Love guy doing? And the other half of the game, I'm like, holy shit, this guy's actually a really good quarterback. I think sitting behind Aaron Rodgers did a lot for the young man. I think he picked up a lot of good traits from Aaron Rodgers. I think there's a lot that... just overall, I think there's a lot of good that he picked up from Aaron Rodgers, along with the good he already had. And being able to sit for a bit and learn the position as well. I think sky's the limit for him, so we'll have to see how he does in year 2 of a full season. I thought he had a pretty decent year last year. I mean, they were a few plays away from damn near a Super Bowl. So I'm very curious to see how this will end up going for them. But yeah, that's going to do it for today, at least for the NFL news. So like I said, now we're going to end the show with some talk of win totals. So I'm going to talk about all the win totals. Or do I? I will talk here. I'll save that actually. I won't go over every single win total. I'll go over the few I wrote down right now because, like I said, we're going to go into deep dives of these win totals when I talk about the teams. Specifically when I do the conference breakdown. So for example, when I do AFC South, I'm going to talk about the Colts win total. I'll go in more detail. I'll be like, this is why I think they can win these mini games, or this is why I think they're going to lose this or be under this. For this, I'm pretty much just giving you the numbers I like. I've already done a deep dive a little bit on each team, but I'm not going to sit here and give you as I go through each team Panthers are going to be under 5 because of their schedule, the schedule lines out the way. Like, I'm not going to do it like that. I'm going to go very, very, very broad here because, like I said, over the next, 4 or so weeks, about 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to be deep diving a lot of this stuff. So there's a chance you're going to hear it multiple times. So that's why each time I'm going to try to not say the same thing every single time, 3 times in a row. Maybe this time I give you a little bit more. This time I go to super deep detail. This time I sum up both points. You're going to ask me follow along. Because like I said, if you follow along with a lot of these episodes, then you have at least have a general idea of what I'm talking about with each team. And you'll be able to tell damn near probably right away which teams I'm really liking. But yeah, like I said, so we're going to go over, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I got 16-ish teams to talk about, and then I got a worst record and a winless bet to talk about. Now, personally for me, I'll get into it a little bit more. I don't think any team's going to go winless, but I think they might be able to go winless for a while. So there's potentially a good cash out chance where maybe, after 4 or 5 games, they don't win a lot of games, you can maybe cash out an extra $30, $40, something like that on top of what you got, or let it ride longer. You'll see. But yeah, going into it, first one I want to talk about, the Panthers under 5.5 wins is plus 102. I just don't see how this team wins 6 games. They got a lot to improve on, just beyond. They have their quarterback, yes, but he didn't have the best confidence last year. He didn't have the most confidence last year. Their offensive line was not the best last year, and the receiving core was not the best last year. And they're coming in this year. Andy Dalton's the backup. They got a few upgrades at running back. They got a few. They got a little bit better wide receiver, I'll admit. But just overall, they got rid of Brian Burns. It's another dude they got rid of. That I thought is going to be a huge loss for them. There's just so much with this team that is wrong and they still have to deal with. And you're going to tell me they're going to win 5 games? If you look at their schedule, I'll pull it up quickly because, like I said, we aren't going to go into too deep of a schedule dive until we talk about the team itself. But I just don't see how the Panthers are going to win 6 games. Let's see. If I had to pick, just looking at their schedule, I think they could potentially beat the Giants. Cardinals, maybe Falcons, because it's Falcons. So, say they beat each of the division opponent one time. We'll just do that, just for the sake of this conversation. They beat each of their opponents one time. That's 3 wins. I don't see them. There's just a lot of teams I genuinely don't see them beating unless they're I obviously know this team's gonna be a little bit different than what it was last year, but what I saw from that team last year coming in this year with what they added, I just don't know how I'm going to see that. I don't know how I'm going to see that much of a difference. So, Panthers being under 5.5, this is going to be a win total that I honestly, I'm probably going to end up taking this. I've bet maybe 2 of these so far, but most of these are going to be kind of like a filter process. I'll explain them out, knock a few down, talk a little bit more, knock a few down, so that way by the end of July, or 3rd or 4th week of July, when I'm giving out all my futures, you're going to get a lot of these. Because, like I said, Panthers under 5.5, though. I think I'm going to like them to have under 5.5 wins. I just don't see them getting over 6 wins this season. I genuinely just don't see how they're going to get over 6 wins unless there's a just complete. I will say, them not having. I will admit, I do like the coach from the Buccaneers. Dave Canales, I believe his name. I do think they are building towards something. I can see it being very similar to how the Lions were. I'm not calling them Lions by any means, but I can see it very similar to where, they go 0-9 for a while. They win, or 0-10 even. They win the 11th game of the season. They win 2 or 3 games all season. They go 3-13. But then the following season, it's a complete 180. All of a sudden, they're 10-8, have a chance for the playoffs. I just think they're still a year or 2 away. I still think they need some more adding, and I think Bryce Young could use another year to build because last year was just rough for him, and he basically stood no chance. The next one, Bears under 8.5 at plus 130. This was just more of a fade of the Bears. Rookie quarterback, and their win total is basically at 9. You're telling me they're going to go 9-8? I don't know. I don't think they're even. I think they might be the 3rd team in their division, even. So just thinking about that, AFC North was the only team last year only division last year that every team in that division had a winning record. So unless you think the NFC North is going to do something very similar, I just don't see how the Bears are going to go over 9 wins. Because I think the Packers are going to be better than them. I think the Lions are going to be better than them. I think Bears will be better than the Vikings. But I just don't. I just don't know if the Bears are going to win 9 games. I would also like to see a little bit more Caleb Williams. I've also Caleb Love. That boy played basketball. But I just don't know how the Bears are going to win over 9 games. Like, I think they're going to win a good amount. I just don't see how they're going to win 9 games. I think they're another team as well where it's like, let's see how the first year under Caleb Williams goes. Let's see where we need to build at going into the next year. Like, this could be, I would just say this might be like a prep year going into like next year being a real year. But they got a bunch of new faces too to get acclimated. So, I mean, if it goes off to a slow start, I mean, if they start 1-5, I'm going to feel really good about my chances for them to not be 9-8. Because all of a sudden they can only lose 3 games out of the next 13, 12 weeks. So yeah, Bears under 8.5. That's gonna be another one I look at. I'm not as locked. I would take the Panthers over this one. Get it over? No, but I would take the Panthers under 5.5 before I took the Bears under 8.5. It's just plus 132. I like the odds. I really do generally like those odds plus 130. We're gonna have to see. Like I said, I think the Bears, they could sneak up on me and have a really good year this year. I thought the way they ended the year last year was really, really impressive. Eberflus basically saved a job. He went from being completely out to the Bears actually showed a little bit of something last year. Like, oh shit, okay, so this team might actually be able to do something year 2. All going to depend on Caleb Williams. They have all the wide receiver talent in the world. They have really good running back. I mean, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet. They got a lot of guys to throw to. Roma Dunze. They got a running back. I can't remember who the running back is. That's going to start. It's not. I think it's an old Eagles running back. I just can't remember what his name is. What's his name? It's going to piss me off once I find it. DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift. That's who it was. So, yeah, they have DeAndre Swift. The offense is going to be special. It's just, like I said, it can come down to Caleb Williams. We're going to see how he does. Cowboys under 10.5, minus 205. This is not anything I'm going to take solo because personally for me, I don't bet anything that's minus 200. Anything, I don't bet anything lower than minus 145, 150 most of the time even. So yeah, the only reason I like the under 10.5 wins, I see the Cowboys being potentially 10-7. Obviously, I have the chance to go 11-6. So this is just one of those ones where I'm going to bring it up because if I end up making like a fun little 4-leg win over-under win total, Cowboys minus 205 to go under potentially might be a leg I throw in there. I just don't know. Like I said, I don't like the juice at all. I just don't see the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are going to have 11 wins this year. They could. I could be totally wrong about that. I haven't fully looked at their schedule yet, and just first like this. Just looking at the numbers, seeing 10.5, it's like I think they're going to go under. So that's kind of why I'm having an eye on that one. Another one I will take first over of the day: Broncos over 5.5 wins, minus 102. I just think the Broncos are going to get 6 wins. I think they win 2 division games potentially. Will they beat the Chargers? I think so. Will they beat the Raiders? I think so. They have a chance. I think they beat the Chiefs last year. So division games are just, that's the one thing that's kind of nice about these win totals, depending on what side you go to. If you have the over, the division games will help you out a lot because those teams know each other really, really well. So that at that point, it basically comes down to like 4 or 5 plays each way. Which, when it comes to over and a half of 5.5, I'll take that because if you get 2 wins in the division, I just need 4 elsewhere. I just think the Broncos are going to be a lot better than a lot of people think. 6 wins just feels a little bit too low for them. Now if they go 7-10, I'll take it. I mean, I'm not talking like they're 9-8 or anything, but I can definitely see Sean Payton. Now that he's got a quarterback, they got rid of Russ. This is kind of like his team now. I could see them generally getting 6 wins just based off Sean Payton being a good coach alone and being able to scheme some stuff up. Because you can't tell me watching any of the games last year, that Russell Wilson got the full playbook to use. I don't think so. Definitely felt like they were saving some plays and not fully letting everything loose. I do have the Packers with a bunch of question marks. I can't remember what their win total is. I think it's about a 9.5, something like that. That's a team I'm going to keep an eye on. If I don't have the win total written down, there's a reason I don't have it written down, because I don't feel the best about it. But that's another team. Colts over 8.5 wins. That's for sure one I'm going to take because I'm a Colts fan. They won 9 games last year with Gardner Minshew. If Anthony Richardson can stay healthy for at least half the season instead of missing the first 4 games, I think they're going to be good. And hey, who's the backup? Joe Flacco. That boy footsteps. Joe Flacco. I like him a lot better than Gardner Minshew. No offense to Gardner Minshew. I think Joe Flacco is a slight upgrade at the backup position. I think between him and Anthony Richardson, he's going to be able to help him out a lot. Laiatu Latu is going to be a great edge rusher for the Colts. Adonai Mitchell, great draft pick for the Colts, a wide receiver. It's just the defense. The Colts have the offenses there. Shane Steichen's going to be able to scheme up the plays. It's just, can their defense get enough stops? Can Gus Bradley not piss me the fuck off this season? We'll see. If I had the over-under, Gus Bradley pissed me off 10 times this season, and that means 10 games, hammer the over. Because I still can't figure out if I like Gus Bradley or not. He has his moments, but god damn it. But yeah, I like the Colts over 8.5 wins. I think they're going to be... I know I'm a little bit biased because I'm a fanboy and all, but I genuinely think it's going to be them and the Texans again for the division, and I think it could potentially come down to that game again of those two playing each other. I just don't think the Jags are going to be that good this year, and I don't think the Titans are going to be worth a shit really this year at all, especially with the new coach. I think they have a little bit of building to do. Speaking of Jaguars under 8.5 at -105, I think the Jaguars are going to be either 8-9 or at best they're going to be 9-8. At extreme best, they're going to get 10 wins. So I think their extreme best, they're going to get 10 wins. It's the Jaguars. A lot of people were shocked by, the Trevor Lawrence deal. I don't mind the deal at all. Just weird. I don't know if I fully like Trevor Lawrence, as a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, the guy, no issues with. Trevor Lawrence as my franchise quarterback. Not fully sold yet on him. So 8.5, I have not bet it yet. It's -105. Interested. I'm definitely interested in it because, like I said, I think them and the Titans are going to be two of the more worst teams in the division. So I'm going to probably look to fade them a good amount this year. So look, I'm going to be looking to take their under at 8.5 because, like I said, I predict them to get about 8 wins. So a hook's still a winner right around here. So I'll take it if they get their 8 wins and we win by a hook. Because I genuinely think my prediction for them, without even looking at their over-under, was about 8-9. So if it's at 8.5, I'm going to take it. Raiders are another team we're going to keep an eye on. Chargers over 8.5, -144. Simply put for this, I think Harbaugh's a winner. I think he's going to have the boys ready. I think they're between the run scheme and what they're going to do to set up Herbert to make Herbert play even better. It's going to come down to the defense. I think the defense is going to play so much harder under Harbaugh, especially. Last year Staley goes, listen. If my message wasn't getting heard, we'd get run out of the building. And the very next week, they were down 63-0 at halftime to the Raiders on Thursday Night Football. And you just knew his job was over. Sorry about that. Got a quick call from my doctor's office. So I think I was talking Chargers. So pretty much, like I said, quickly finish it. It's Harbaugh, winner. Herbert, Studley quarterback. That's what I was talking about. Walk it. If my message wasn't getting heard, we'd get ran out of the building. 63-0 at halftime. Yes, I think the Chargers are going to be a little bit better this year. 9 wins is a lot, so the M at -144, that's a shit ton of juice. So I don't know for sure if I'm going to take that one, but that's just the team I'm going to be looking at to do better. I'm going to put a star next to this one. I think I'm going to do it. Excuse me. The only thing that scares me is their division slightly, but not in the way you think. Dolphins under 9.5 wins. I think their division's going to be good, especially if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. But the only thing that does scare me is they can basically have 2 wins against the Patriots. There's a chance they could beat the Bills. If they beat the Bills once, there's 3. They beat the Jets once, there's 4. And if they happen to beat any of those teams, so I assume they beat the Patriots twice. If they beat any of those other teams twice, which I personally don't think they will, there's 4 of their 10 wins basically right there. I just don't see this team going 10-7 this year with the Dolphins. My biggest reason too, I've mentioned this on my show a lot. You guys have heard it a lot. Plus 100, by the way, for this as well. I don't like the fact they got rid of Christian Wilkins. I really do not like that at all. I thought a lot of the things that they've done in their defense I've not liked at all. They've invested in their offense, which makes sense. They have some studs on offense as well. But the fact that they just let Christian Wilkins, a guy they drafted, homegrown guy, who basically became an all-star and a stud in their system, not even along with their system, just became a stud in their building, became one of their biggest faces, one of their leaders. Just let that dude walk away. That didn't sit right with me at all. Then you hear, I've talked about it a little bit, they've come out and said all the stuff about the money they want, all these players on their team especially, all the money they want, all this and all that, and they haven't mentioned. And then they come out and be like, of course I want to win a Super Bowl as well and everything, but the first thing I've heard a lot of is the money this offseason, so it's not a good sign to me. Like I said, I understand that the players need to make their money. I'm on the player side. Make as much money as you can. But it's just little subtle things. Obviously I think every NFL player goes to the NFL wants to win. Majority of them want to win something. But at the end of the day they're also looking out for themselves, which I also get. But we're looking at this I want to make money. I'm putting my money on this team. And when I hear a lot of guys going, yeah, I'm just looking to reset the market. Can't wait to see. I'm happy all these guys are getting paid. I can't wait to see what I get. And then they're paying they're looking to pay Tua. Tua's like, well, I know other quarterbacks are getting. I'm not stupid. I'm paying attention. And then they're paying Jalen Waddle. They let Andrew Van Ginkel walk. They let Christian Wilkins go. I mean, just a lot. There's a lot bouncing back and forth. I'm not liking what's going over here. They do make it good. Like Jalen Waddle signing him back. That was a huge move. I like that for their offense. There's a lot that I'm just not the biggest fan of when it comes to the Dolphins. So I just don't see them winning 10 games. Like I said, I think they're a decent team. I just think that defense could become a big problem. We're going to have to see how it goes under Vic Fangio. For plus 100, for them to be 9-8 is not a bad record at all. And I could see them. I think they're going to potentially go about 9-8. Like I said, could be totally wrong. Could be looking into this way too much about the players and everything. But it's just, yeah, not the biggest fan of the Dolphins. I'm going to probably potentially look to fade them this year. I don't know. I do like Mike McDaniels, though. I love their coach. I think it's mainly more of Tua. And it's not me, like I said, Tua the person, no issue at all. Love Tua the guy, just Tua the quarterback. Ever since those injuries and everything, the fact that he doesn't want to run as much anymore, so he can't do as much. And I don't know. I'm not fully invested on the Giants. Vikings under 7.5 wins. I think this will be the fourth team in their division in the NFC North. I think it's between Lions and Packers for first place. I just don't know who's going to get first place between the two, but those are the two teams I'm looking at to get first. With that being said, Vikings only under 7.5 wins. I think J.J. McCarthy comes in. Their season is off to a pretty poor start. I guess let me rephrase that. Their season's either off to a really poor start, Sam Darnold's playing horrible, or J.J. McCarthy's just ready, which could be a really, really good thing. But also, if J.J. McCarthy's ready and he's replacing Sam Darnold's probably playing bad. Because they probably want J.J. to sit for close to a year so he can have some time to learn, basically learn as much as he can before they throw him out there. And it sounds like they've liked Sam Darnold from a lot, or at least Kevin O'Connell likes Sam Darnold from a lot of the stuff he's come out and said in the media. But like I said, 7.5 wins. I'm not the biggest sold on this, especially under 7.5 wins, minus 170, heavily juiced. But I just don't see them. I don't see them winning 8 games this year. And I think that them being last place in the division, I think they're only going to win 1 or 2 division games out of the 6 they're going to play. So that's a lot of misses or a lot of wins they're missing out on. These two, these last 4. Here, I'll give you one. I'll give you this last one. I'm thinking about these last 4. I'm for sure going to take. Titans under 6.5, minus 134. Yet again, I think the Colts between the Colts and Texans. I'm looking for the Jags and Titans to not have the best of seasons. I think the Jags would win 9 games before I think the Titans would win 7. So I'm for sure going to take the Titans under at 134, I think, or under 6.5 at 134. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to take it. I think I'm going to take it, but I'm still kind of debating that. We'll see. I'll probably save pulling the trigger until we do the AFC South talk either Thursday or Tuesday. And then the last 4, Giants under 6.5 wins. I just don't think the Giants are going to be good this year. Minus 150. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, personally. Daniel Jones coming off an injury. They lose Saquon Barkley. Their defensive line is the only position group I like on the team. Where I go across the names like, yep, I like majority of the dudes in this position group. Only position group. Everybody else, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I fully like these guys. They have some dudes. I think they're due to blow it up pretty much. I think Dayball's probably going to be gone after this year. Daniel Jones is probably going to be done after this year in the Giants, and I think we're going to see them blow it up because I feel like they were kind of hanging on with Saquon on the, do we blow it up, do we not? And then Daniel Jones has that really good season where they beat the Vikings in the playoffs, and all of a sudden it's like, maybe we don't need to blow it up, but I feel like I think that situation is very similar to what happened with the Atlanta Hawks in 2020, where they make the finals with Trae Young's. And instead of going the other way, where it's like, man, we probably should have got we should have probably fixed this and not ran with it back. They run it back anyway, maybe add another piece like DeJounte Murray, give away some picks, and then boom. They're basically back to mediocre. They had that one big season, and now they're about to be in rebuild mode. They just had the number 1 pick this year in the draft. The Hawks did. So I see something very similar happening to the Giants, where it's just, I think that Daniel Jones' season was more of a anomaly than a consistency. It didn't help that he got hurt last year, but I just don't see how the Giants are going to improve from last year, even with getting Daniel Jones back. The Patriots under 4.5 wins, plus 122. I think this is another team that's going to get under 6 wins. So when I talk about the worst record teams to end it, they're going to be another team I bring up. Even if Drake May starts, I just don't know if he's ready. I don't think they have any reason to win at all. Their first year without Bill Belichick. First year under Gerard Mayo. I think the defense is going to be good. The offense, oh boy, I think they got a long way to go with the offense and rebuilding it. So I just don't know how offensively they're going to be able to stay in games. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense. I just don't see how the Patriots score 21. I don't see them scoring 21 points in 10 games this year. If they score 21 points in 10 games this year, I'll be shocked. Over 21 in 10 games. I assume that there's going to be a lot of games where they're potentially winning about like 20 to 17, 17-14. I feel like there's going to be a lot of low-scoring games with the Patriots, so I'm going to be looking to take their under as well as the Giants under. And then the last two overs I have is Steelers over 8.5, Seahawks over 7.5 wins. For the Seahawks over 7.5, their biggest issue was their defense. Last year, I thought they were a really good team with a pretty piss-poor defense. And I don't know if that's a coordinator. I don't know if that's a Pete Carroll thing. But a lot of the time when Pete Carroll was the head coach, his defenses weren't the best. The Legion of Boom was an exception, obviously. But because of that, I like McDonald, the guy who's coming over from the Ravens. I genuinely do like him a lot. I think he's going to be a really, really good coach for them. I like what the defense is doing for the most part. I don't like how they painted over the murals in the wall. And they're basically saying, like, it's a fresh start for us and all this and all that. New era of the team. I don't like that kind of thinking and everything necessarily because those guys in the past built you up to this point. Now it's your turn to add the layer. It's like marble. They added the marble. Now you add the next layer of marble for the base floor, or you add the next part of the house, and then the next group will, like, you should just build on top of it. You shouldn't just wipe it clean and then start over ever. You should, but like I said, that's a whole different conversation for another day. The Colts did something very similar. I was not a fan of that at all. Not a fan of that at all. But like I said, Seahawks over 7.5 wins. I think they're going to be a little bit better. I just think they're going to improve enough to win 8 games. I think 8 games is very, very doable, especially because their division has gotten a little bit weaker. The Rams got a little bit weaker. Cardinals are for sure going to be a little bit weaker, so there's a few wins there. And then the 49ers are obviously still going to be an issue. But those other two teams, they got a real chance of sweeping. Will they? Doubt it. If they sweep them, there's 4. They're 8 wins. And then they just got to collect a few wins everywhere else, which I think they could because the Seahawks still have a good team. And the Steelers over 8.5. Tomlin wins 9 games every season. He always has a winning record. He's had a winning record every season he's coached. Why is it going to be different this year? The defense, I think, is about the same, if not better. I think they upgraded the quarterback position. I just learned today the Steelers last year only threw 13 touchdown passes. Threw 13 touchdown passes. That's it. As a team. That's literally an average of one less. That's under a touchdown a game that was basically thrown. So I think Russell Wilson or Justin Fields will be an upgrade over Kenny Pickett over that. The wide receiver room is a little bit weaker maybe because of losing Deontay Johnson, but I still think it's going to be good. I just think overall they didn't lose enough to get worse than what they were last year, and Tomlin always has a winning record. So the fact that the books put it at 8.5 and they made a plus 122, like, come on now. That's just being disrespectful to Tomlin. Tomlin's going to get them to 9 wins. They definitely have the guys to get them to, I mean, their defense is good enough to get them to 9 wins. And hell, they have enough on offense, especially if Arthur Smith can bring back a little bit of the magic he had when he was play calling in Tennessee, they're going to have a really, really good chance. To end it now, we're going to talk worst record. I'm not going to talk winless as well. Mike said, so I'm going to talk the same 3 teams for all this. So I'm going to say the worst record, winless. Worst record, winless. So the worst record for the Pats in the NFL. So this is the worst record in the NFL. All after the end of the season, plus 550. Winless is plus 650. The Panthers have the worst record, plus 700. Winless is plus 800. Giants' worst record, plus 850. Winless is plus 1100. Now, I don't think any of these teams will go winless. I think they'll at least win 1 to 3 games this year. Minimum. I think they'll win 1 to 3 games. But if I had to pick, I'd probably bet on the Pats to go winless. I think they'll go winless the longest just because they have no reason to win this year. They're basically trying to get Drake May ready for next year. If I had the Giants, like I said, I don't think they're going to be any good this year, but I still think they have a chance to win a few games. Panthers, I just have no clue what to expect from them. I just don't see them winning a lot of games, but they could surprise everybody and just come out of nowhere and be the super team. But I just don't think they're going to be that good. I think they're going to be a little bit more towards the bottom of the barrel. So those are the 3 teams I'm confident will be in the bottom of the league. The Cardinals maybe as well, but I like their quarterback situation at least better than these 3 teams. I just don't see either of these 3 teams winning over 6 games, so that's kind of why I picked them. I'm just trying to decide, all right, who do I actually want to bet now? Because I haven't fully decided. There's a chance to take all 3, and all 3 of these teams, I kind of try to play it off of that. But I'll just see. I haven't fully decided yet, but by the time I have my futures episode, I will. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. That's pretty much it for today. I actually went a lot longer than I thought I was. These win totals, I guess. Literally, when I thought the news section would be about 5 to 10 minutes, I thought these win totals would be about 15 to 20. I think these win totals went close to 30 minutes. I guess I just had a lot more to give out than I thought. And I had a lot more information to share. But yeah, so those are my favorite win totals I'm potentially going to take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, 6 of them locked in. I'm for sure going to take that. I'll be giving out again, especially as as we break down the teams, I'll be giving out more. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thank you all for support. Really do appreciate it. Thursday, like I said, it's either going to be a breakdown video or it's going to be like a kind of chill, like, hey, this is our last true video this summer. I'll see you next week with the breakdown. It'll either be that or it's going to be the start of the breakdowns. I haven't fully decided yet because I'm finishing out some last stuff for the breakdowns. So, TBD. But I will see everybody back in this feed on Thursday for some more football talk.